Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller. Happy first episode of the entire year. Now, over break, me and my sister, we were chatting, and I say break. I have not been in school, high school or college for quite some time now. But to me, like, Christmas break will always and forever be something in my mind, right? So if I'm talking about break, my little vacation, so Lily and I were discussing about why people say, New Year, same me, right? Like, that's so frustrating. Like, it's a new year, a new opportunity, and people just kind of succumb to a lesser version of themselves. And I get it. Everybody is pushing so much for growth, so much for completely overhauling your life, okay? It can be annoying. I get it. But there is just something so sad about saying, new year, same me, I'm not changing, right? Because change is the only thing that is going to remain the same, right? Year after year, things are going to be different. They're going to look different. And if you say same me, like, to me, it's almost like you are, if you're not growing, you're decaying, right? And if you've ever read The Atomic Habits, okay, I've not read this book in so long, it's been multiple years, but I always bring light to it come the new year. I'm like, okay, James Clear was talking about if you're not getting 1% better every single day, you're actually like declining in some way or fashion. And I just cannot get behind people saying, new year, same me, because it's really not the same you. Like, you're gonna have new experiences, you're gonna have new thoughts. There's no way that you can remain the same in a new year. So it's just diabolical to me, okay? And I'm not saying you have to have like all of these big, crazy plans, because honestly, that's not attainable. It's stressing everybody out to have these strict guidelines on trying to achieve and do everything. Like, that's not what I'm after, but it is a new year. It will be a new me that I'm becoming, and every day, like, chasing after. It's no different than any other regular day, but I love New Year's. I do. It's one of my very, very, very favorite times of the year. It's like this massive reset button, okay, where we can dream and do anything that we want. I love the promise. I love the excitement that is around it. And like, 2025 is not going to be any different. I still have so much excitement for this upcoming year, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. And if you, I mean, everybody has been talking about the TikTok ban, right? And I, like everyone else, am worried about some of my old data. And so for the last hour, and I haven't even got through all of it, for some reason it was not saving my private videos. So I archived a whole lot of videos in 2019, 2020, 21, 22, and even some in 23 and 24. But I archived some things that I just, didn't want on my page anymore. And I still want them, right? Like, there's a reason I didn't delete them, but I just don't want them shown publicly on my page, whether it was like poor quality or just like, I don't know, we all can get a little embarrassed about things that we did in the past. And so I was going through them and I couldn't get them to download. So I was screen recording on my iPad, trying to just like save some of these memories, because as I record this episode, like, I don't know what's going to happen to the app. Nobody really and truly knows what is going to be happening. But I was going back through all of these videos, and it really struck me that there has been a lot of time passing, and sometimes I forget that life is moving on in a way that is like good, but so much has changed. I was looking at when we first moved into this house, and our backyard, guys, seriously, it was dirt, like it was clay. Honestly, there was not a single speck of grass growing in our yard. Before we poured our patio, like it was just mud. The dogs were muddy. I had so many videos that I was like, all right, gave the dogs a bath, gave the dogs another bath. And right now we have snow on the ground, so it's hard to like look at it. But I know our grass, although it is so patchy, looks amazing in comparison to the literal mud pit that we moved on. We've been having like troubles growing the grass and directly in front of our patio, and looking at old videos, I was like, no wonder we're struggling with the growth of grass. Like I didn't realize that there was quite a bit of gravel that kind of got dumped there from pouring of the concrete. I'm looking at our furniture. I'm looking at my office. Honestly, like previously I had 2 long card tables in my office and they were at an L. I remember when Garrett and I first moved in, I said that I wanted a table that was shaped in an L so I can roll on one side to the other side if I wanted to craft, or I wanted to sew or work on my computer. I could like move to area, and I was able to like have access to all of the things, right? And now as I look in my studio, I have this beautiful wooden desk that Garrett made. He got the wood, he sanded the wood, he did all the things, and he attached them to these metal legs, and the desk can rise and lower. It's stunning, it's beautiful. I'm looking at our bedroom. When we first moved, I just had a bed. There was no headboard, there was no footboard. We had it on like little risers. It was just taken from the previous house, and we put it in this one, and now we have like this beautiful headboard, and I have these linen comforters and duvet covers, and I'm just so happy with like how my bed looks. And I'm like, wow, that's so much growth, right? Like looking at what our bedroom used to look like. We didn't even have a dresser. We were just like putting them in. We had like a couple really simple built-in shelves in our closet, and that's where all our t-shirts were. Like we did not have a dresser. We didn't have side tables. Our house looks like so empty when I'm looking at these old videos. And on top of it, like our living room, we didn't have a carpet in there. And I was just thinking to myself, the carpet in our living room now, like it's quite it's getting quite dirty. Rooster and Rowdy will like roll on it. It's the only carpet we have like in our living area. We just have carpet in the 2 bedrooms. That's it. Everywhere else has like this like linoleum hardwood situation, whatever. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was our old couch and our old chair, and we don't have that furniture anymore. Like when our table was white, and I don't know, it made me feel so nostalgic. Also looking at myself, my younger version, I'm so proud of her in so many ways for, you know, showing up, for chatting, for showing her day. I'm looking back at these like video vlogs, and I'm laughing at her because I'm doing it in earnest, right? Like in 2019 and 2020, I was like showing my day, 21, 20, like I love vlogs, it's so much fun. But it also makes me think, oh my gosh, like I have been pursuing media for quite some time now. And I am just so proud of how I've progressed, and the style, the quality, like everything. And I know in 5 more years, I'll look back and think, oh my gosh, like I've grown even more so in the past couple of years. But it's crazy because when we moved into this house, and we're coming up on our anniversary of actually being in this home, gosh, we moved in 21, so it's 25. It's been 4 full years of living here, and we'll be working on our 5th year, which is crazy. Truly just like blessed with how everything has gone, and it's easy for me to like look back at these videos and think, oh my gosh, like they were so amazing, they were so good. But I even stated in a couple of videos like I was having panic attacks, or you know, I didn't sleep well, or whatever. Like those vlogs were a way for me to verbalize what I was going through, but also like have some sort of routine, have a discipline of what I was doing every day. I was journaling, I was keeping myself accountable, and it made me really, really proud of myself. But even then, like if I didn't have the goals, because every year I get like a new journal, I write down what I want to do, and even if I didn't have those new goals, like life is going to be changing no matter what. Like we got a new couch, like that was not necessarily something I had on like my New Year's resolutions of like upgrade our furniture, but it was an intention I wanted, like, and when it happened, I was grateful for it, right? Like it's amazing, but sometimes it's those simple things in life you don't really notice until it's after the fact, where you're looking back and you're like, oh my gosh, like we did that thing, or it was awesome, or whatever. And I'm feeling just so sentimental, and I'm feeling grateful, and even if I didn't have those goals, I know that life is going to change no matter what. And so just the whole verbiage around, you know, new year, same me, there's no way that it's going to be the same you. Like things are going to change and evolve, and I can't even like put into words. I couldn't envision, I couldn't see all the good things that were going to happen in the future, right? Like when we are in the day-to-day, we are so focused on the problem that we have at hand, you know, whether it's our job or anxiety or our depression or relationship, whatever it is. We're not looking at all the days stacked up, or we're not looking at the opportunities that we'll be granted with. We're not seeing the entire photo, and you can't see the entire thing until you're looking back. And so I'm mesmerized on how much I have done in the past couple of years, and I'm so excited to see what can be done in the next 5, right? Because if I think about 2020, that's the year I graduated from college, and it was the training wheels were off, right? And in some ways, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I should be further. In other ways, I'm like, oh my gosh, look what we have done. Like it's amazing, it's so good. So, but back to the nostalgia, let's do a quick little recap of what happened during Christmas, during my little break. So if you didn't know, my sister-in-law Riley got married to Jim in Chicago. It was beautiful, it was lovely. We flew out on Christmas Day, and it was so nice. We picked a mid-morning flight. And I will tell you, I will never again pick a very, very early flight. I don't care, I might go back on this because budget is very important to me, but I don't mind spending maybe $100 more to leave at a mid-morning flight. It was so nice, like the ease that we had of just like going to the airport and loading up our bags, and we got some coffee and we flew into Chicago. Chicago is absolutely magical. It is one of my favorite places in the entire United States, and I haven't traveled all that much, but to me, Chicago is just, it's lovely. This is the second Christmas that we spent in Chicago. I feel like these days were so jam-packed. We got there on Christmas Day. We got to the hotel, we changed, and we went out to a beautiful dinner. I forget where it was, honestly, but had a lovely dinner. So Riley is Garrett's sister. So their parents were there. And then Jim's mom and sister were there, and we had just like this really nice family meal. It was candlelit. The vibes were immaculate. It was beautiful. It was stunning. The next day was Thursday, and Thursday was like a working day because although we were on vacation, we still had to get our work done. So Thursday, we spent the bulk of working. Thursday night, we just got dinner. I don't even really remember Thursday. It was kind of like a sub day, if you will. But Friday we had the rehearsal dinner. It was, oh, wait, no. Thursday, a lot of family was flying in. So at their apartment, you could rent out the clubhouse, and we had like a little pizza party. All of the extended family came, was invited. So we got to catch up with people before the wedding. Friday was a rehearsal. It was beautiful, and let me tell you guys, I have been limiting my alcohol intake like since I had started my anxiety attacks back in 2020, right? and I just don't like consuming alcohol like I used to, honestly. I'm not in college anymore. I don't like not feeling in control of my body, but for some reason I was like, this is a lovely time, and I love a rehearsal. And so for some reason it was sounding great to me. So I started within what the heck did I have? I was gonna say espresso martini, but I didn't have that until after. I had a dry martini. I had a gin martini, extra dirty with blue cheese olives. It was delish, and that tasted pretty dang good. So then I moved on to an espresso martini. I tried to battle against the espresso martini because it has caffeine in it. It was super late, but I figured I could definitely use it. And they were great beverages. Oh my gosh. And then later that night I had like a glass of wine, and I will tell you, like, taking a break from alcohol and then coming back to it, I wasn't hungover the next day at all. I made sure that I drank plenty of water, but to me it wasn't this like stressful thing of like, oh my gosh, I haven't drank for so long, like how's my body gonna react? So I'm really glad that it was a very easy thing. Like, I wasn't stressed about it, and usually I kind of stress about drinking, so I was happy about that. But yeah, Friday was just excellent. It was so beautiful. We got to see the church. They got married at St. Michael's, and this church is massive. It's so huge. It has beautiful stained glass windows. It has the second largest aisle in the state of Illinois, and honestly it was just beautiful setup. At the front you would like look at it. It is so just like magnificent, and then you start to notice little details and little scenes, and it just like kind of grows upon itself, right? And then Saturday was the wedding day. We got ready in one of the hotel suites. It was kind of set up like an apartment, very beautiful, and we got ready, we drank champagne, we hung out. It honestly, the day could not have gone better. It was beautiful. We danced, we laughed, we ate, we celebrated Riley and Jem. It was the perfect Christmas Chicago wedding. I have no words. Jem's family is just so sweet. I'm so glad that our family got combined with his family. It was beautiful. And cheers to them. And I was really impressed with Garrett and I's packing job, because I had Bay's suitcases, so I had loaded those bad boys up with everything. But yeah, it was a really lovely time. Oh, before we went to Chicago for the wedding, we did celebrate Christmas, just Garrett and I, and of course we had like all the other family Christmases throughout, I don't know, that week prior. But I will say my favorite Christmas gift that Garrett got me was a tennis racket. And let me tell you guys, I have been wanting tennis lessons. This past summer and fall, I put out on social media, I was like, hey, at the Golden Gal Network, I said, does anybody know how to play tennis? Does anybody want to play tennis with me? Can you teach me, right? So we went out this past summer, and one of the gals who came, her name was Christine, she showed me like a little bit, but that was the first time that I played tennis. And I have the New Year's resolution, I really want to learn tennis in 2025. In 2024, I learned yoga. I became a yoga instructor. That's something that I released for this upcoming year. I feel like I have the knowledge, I have my individual practice and things, but next I want to conquer tennis. So I asked for a tennis racket on my list, and Garrett, he came through. And I was like, okay, I have this tennis racket, and there is it's called Elite something. It's in Overland Park. One of my friends had recommended it. It was Christine. She was like, if you really want to do tennis, you should take this course. It's really easy. And I was like, okay, come this spring when I have some time, because and that fall I was teaching twice a week, right? Like I was teaching Mondays and Saturdays. I was like, I have no time for it. Plus with the podcast and all the things, I was like, okay, next spring I will sign up for it. I followed the page, and then they did a giveaway, and I entered in the giveaway. I was like, please, 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 I want to win this. This is like part of my 2025. And guess what, guys? I was the winner. I was so excited. And so I am taking classes come February, but I got my tennis racket before I won the classes. So, you know, one piece at a time. That's why like life is ever changing. You never know what's gonna happen next. So that was my favorite gift from Garrett. He got me everything that I could have possibly wanted, and I felt super, super bad about his. And let me tell you why. So this past summer, I had already decided what I was going to get Garrett. When we first got married, we were on a budget. We were on a super tight budget, and when it came down to our rings, I asked Garrett what kind of wedding band he wanted. He requested tungsten. The ring was $50 from Etsy though, so it honestly, like, it was a very, very affordable ring. And we've been married for 4 years now. And his ring has definitely like tarnished. It looks super, super dirty. And he had mentioned the previous year on our anniversary, he was like, you know, I always ask him, what are you looking forward to in the next year? What was your favorite part about this past year? Like, we just kind of talk about things, right? And he was like, yeah, I think maybe next year I'll want to upgrade my ring. He was talking about himself like he was going to go out and buy something. But in that moment, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this on my list. And during the summer, I really dialed down, and I was like, I need to make it a priority. I need to go pick something out. So I had it in my mind to pick him up a new wedding band. I went with this super classic, okay, it's a classic ring. It's a gold wedding band, and it's like tapered on the sides a bit, so it like hugs his finger. Is very cute. I'm impressed with myself. But it is just a gold band. Very romantic, very classic. I have a gold band. I love a gold band. I love the simplicity of it. I hope that when I was picking out, I was like, oh man, like I was going through all the sizes. I was looking at it on my hand, and I was really hoping I was getting the right ring, something that he would pick out for himself. But I knew, I was like, okay, I'll just save the receipt. Worst case scenario, if I have to, you know, return it, we can get a new one. So I had that intention. Every year though, like since we've started dating in 2017, I have asked him for a Christmas list. I'm like, okay, can I have a Christmas list? And this year he delivered. Before, I didn't even ask for a list, and he was like, here's my list. And I look at his list, and it is chock full of car parts, hunting supplies, like the list goes on and on. I was like, oh, like, okay, this is fine. And as we were going through December, he started to notice, he had like wrapped his gifts and put them up probably like the second week of Christmas, or second week of December. And he was like, Logan, there's no gifts under the tree for me. I was like, you are right. And I said, you know what? I had them delivered to my dad's house. I didn't want you to peek because Garrett and I both work from home. I was like, yeah, you know, I had them delivered at my dad's house. And then I started getting a little nervous. I was like, okay, he is gonna expect something under the Christmas tree. Like, obviously his ring was out of our normal budget of what we would have bought for each other for Christmas, but I felt like he needed something to open. So I went and I went clothes shopping, okay, because he can always use new clothes. I love trying to dress my man, although I will say, keep your man ugly, as in you don't want him looking too nice. I always joke with my sister about that whenever like our significant other or dad or something is like wearing the worst outfit, usually not matching at all. I'm like, keep your man ugly. Keep your man ugly. It's a joke. It's from TikTok, okay? Anyways, so I picked him up like 2 half quarter zips, 2 pairs of new sweatpants, because I had the intention, if I bought him new clothes, he would have to throw away like some of his, or donate some of his other clothes. I got him like 3 really nice like dry fit shirts, and I was like, okay, clothes, check. I get him like a big pack of batteries from Costco and some stocking stuffers, right? Like, I tried to just get the equivalent amount of gifts underneath the tree that he had gotten me for him, so he had something to open. And so it is Christmas Eve. We've sat down to open up our gifts, and I'm opening like we go back and forth, like he opens one, I open this one. And I'm going through my gifts and I'm like, oh my gosh, this man has gotten me everything that I asked for. Like every single thing that I put on my list, he has put underneath the tree. And I was like, oh my gosh. And every time he's opening his gifts, right? And he opens it and it's you know, the half quarter zip or whatever. He goes, thank you. Like he's grateful, right? And then he sets it down. Nobody wants clothes unless you're a girl, right? Like boys don't normally like clothes, and Garrett does wear the things that I buy him and he is appreciative of him. But it is very much like a 10-year-old boy who's like, where are my toys, right? Kind of like you can feel that energy. And I'm cackling on the inside because I know like all the packages are closed. So he opens up the next one. It's like, oh, workout shirts, thank you so much. Like I can't wait to wear these. Open the next one. Oh my gosh, like thank you so much. I can't wait to wear these sweatpants. Going through the list, and I am just like opening up sourdough accessories or Skims. Like I'm going through all the things, and I am just like grinning ear to ear. And I know that he probably thinks it's because I love my gifts, which I do. And so he opens them all up, and I told him before which wrapping paper to use, because we bought like huge rolls last year. I'm like, okay, use up all of the it was black wrapping paper with gold reindeer on it. I was like, we're using all of that up before we can buy new ones, so I would really appreciate it if you would use it, right? So all of the gifts are the same color except for one gift. A couple years back, I picked up some Porsche wrapping paper, and I wrapped his ring in this Porsche wrapping paper. And so he thought it was a gift for our family Christmas or like someone else. And so he opens up all of the black wrapping paper gifts. And he's like, thank you for my gifts. And I said, you have one more gift. And he's like, where? I was like, it's this one, it's the Porsche paper. And I give it to him. And he opens it up and he's so excited. He's so sentimental about it, right? Like, I know out of all the car parts and everything else, like he can definitely buy that himself, right? Like this was something that I knew that he had mentioned. I remembered it. I was like, this is something that I want to do. And he was really happy. So what can I say? You're welcome. But it was a great moment, and I'm keeping his Christmas list. Don't you worry. He'll be getting that for his birthday come up in May. I will just transfer some items over. But it seriously made me laugh so hard as he was like opening each one. I was like, that's not on your list. That's not on your list. Like he didn't ask for clothes, like rightfully so. I realized why you'd be a little upset. So Christmas went great. I got everything that I wanted, and I was a pretty good girl for 2024, but we'll see what comes 25, right? But I'm so sad. We put up our Christmas decorations just this last week, put the tree up, put all the ornaments up. I will say like my decorating wasn't as good as I would have preferred for this past year, but next year a little bit better. I'll get a little bit better because that's all you can do. And every time when we clear out all of our items, I feel like our house is so empty. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did everything go? But in the best way, like in the clean, crisp way. And it makes me feel good. Now with the new year, I always have new goals, obviously. And this year I did it differently than any other year I've done before. Previously, I've always written my intentions, right? Or I've had like these bigger goals that I've wanted, kind of like some broad ideas. I would write them in my notes app. Guys, New Year's seriously is my favorite. I remember one year for Christmas, I got like this camera. It was like one of those just super cheap kind of digital camera for sure. But I recorded my like New Year's resolutions. I remember, I think I was, I don't know, like 14. I remember flipping it around and everybody was downstairs waiting to celebrate the new year. I think we were watching movies or something. I went upstairs and I quickly no, wait a second. This was middle school. This 15 would have been in high school. Yeah, that would have been my freshman year. I was a little bit younger because I remember shopping for candies or Candice at, was it Kohl's? Anyways, I've always had big intentions for myself for New Year's. It's seriously one of my favorite holidays or monumental changes of the year. I've journaled. That was the first time ever doing like a video journal, but in the past, like I've written down things in my notes app or whatnot. This year I took a little different approach. I started saving things to a Pinterest board. I labeled it 2025. Now, for the past couple years have had a Pinterest board that is dedicated to the year and not necessarily like house or wedding. Like I know a lot of people have like wedding boards or just anything, right? Like dream bedroom, dream car, dream this, dream that, or outfits, winter outfits, fall outfits, nursery, baby names, like all the things, right? Like you have these goals, you have these things that you aspire, but previously, a couple years back, I started doing boards that were for the year. So for 2025, it's the 2025. That's it, 2025. It's always private. You can't look them up. Sorry, not sorry. But I started saving things to the board that I loved or I found inspiring or what I envisioned or what I wanted. And then once I had all those compiled, I started saving the super niche ones, like the ones that was really a true desire, because sometimes you just save things to a Pinterest board and you're not really thinking about it. You're like, okay, save, I like it, that girl's pretty, so obviously it's like wanting to achieve it, this unattainability, so save it to the Pinterest board. No, I did that. I was very intentional with the things I saved to my Pinterest board. And then after that, I downloaded images. I downloaded probably around 40 that really, really resonated with me. This varied from a car, a house, a routine, truly anything that I found inspiration with. And then I did 2 to a page on like a web or a Word document. I did have to change it landscape ways because I wanted to print these out. And I know so many people do vision boards. And I have not yet done a vision board for this year, but I did print 2 copies if I wanted to do the vision board, because I do think seeing it daily is important. But what I wanted to do instead was I bought myself a new journal. It's so beautiful, okay? It's brown. It's from Target. Target always has the best things, but it's this little Target journal. It says journal on the front. I picked it up in Hawaii when I was there over break, if you will. And it's beautiful. It's faux leather bound, but I printed out those photos and I pasted them into this journal. And on the other side of it, you know, whether it was whichever page, I took the image, I pasted it in, and I wrote about how it applied to me or what I wanted from this photo. So if it was hair has been like one of my intentions, one of my goals for forever, since I was a freshman in high school and burned off my hair. Like it was bleach white blonde, guys, absolutely disgusting, so damaged. And I always wanted like beautiful long hair. And so trying to grow that out, like my junior year, I put black dye on it, trying to get back to my natural. And then my senior year, I had reddish hair because I was trying to pull out the black. Stupid, okay? A mistake you made, we all go through it. And then coming into college, like trying to grow out my hair and cutting my hair and all the things. So if I took hair as like one of those photos, I pasted in my journal. And maybe it was this girl who had long brown hair, and I would write on the side like, I have long luscious brown hair. When I brush it in the shower, it comes off in long. What my normal shedding rate are long strands, because when my hair was completely fried, I had broken pieces in the bathtub, guys. Like I would, you know, you put conditioner in your hair and then you like run your fingers through it, or a comb or brush or whatever you do in the shower. I'm not judging you. But I would have like broken pieces, like none of the hair shedding. It wasn't shedding. Yes, there was some shedding, but mostly it was broken pieces. So I just remember like looking at the hair thinking one day, like my hair is going to be one long strand. And now I've achieved that. Even cutting my hair this past April, which is insane. Like my hair is just about to the same length that it was before I cut it in April. And thinking to myself, oh my gosh, and it was the end of April, right? Like it's so closer to May than April. I just felt like I wanted this big cut for this new season in my life. And that was great. I felt like I got a lot of my dead hair off, releasing some of that old energy and stepping into like this new season. And yes, it's grown long again, and I don't think I'll be cutting it again anytime soon. But I was like, that's something I did. And journaling or like writing it next to it, if that was my intention, I could really embody the feeling of like having long hair, right? Like when I was sitting in the bathtub, looking at my broken pieces, I literally thought to myself how I was going to feel. And I find when I'm struggling dreaming, or I'm struggling envisioning something that I want so bad, I will put it in perspective, like how does my body feel, or how would it be if I already had it, if I didn't have to wait for it, like I just imagined I already had it. And then the feeling is so much stronger and I'm able to like come back to it. So if I ever thought to myself, oh my gosh, like I want to bleach my hair again, I would think back to, okay, what's your goal? What's your intention? Is this going to bring you closer to your goal? Or if I saw it and was like, oh, I love this like long, or this like short, choppy, layered look, is that going to bring me the long hair that I'm wanting? No. And so long brown hair is not on my list this year. I feel like to an extent my hair is very, very healthy in comparison to my high school hair, like just worlds apart. And I'm really happy with how my hair is growing. I'm not going to think too much about my hair because obviously it could always be thicker, it could always be longer. But whatever goal, whatever intention you had, or that photo you printed out, like it just drives it home so much deeper to be cutting out the photos, to be pasting it on your journal, to be looking at it, and to be writing about why you like the photo. What emotion, what feeling does it trigger inside your body that makes you crave it, that makes you want it? I truly believe that any dream or any intention that's put on your heart, it's put on your heart for a reason. Like, no, and when you talk to someone about that dream, right? Like if I say, oh, I want long hair so bad, like someone with the short blonde hair might think, oh my gosh, like that's not my dream. I don't understand what you want. I would rather have like this short French bleach. Well, the French don't really like do too many cosmetic procedures, but I'm saying like this short jet black hair, whatever it is, like that's not her dream, so she doesn't understand where you're coming from. Same goes for the other things in your life. Like you have the dream for a reason. It's not everybody else's dream, it's what you are supposed to do. And it might seem crazy to other people, so it's really nice to be able to journal it out, to get your thoughts on paper. And then when you're looking at it and it's physical and not necessarily digital, because we're all learning, like sometimes digital, if it's on the platform that is volatile, we can't always go back to it, right? Like your account could get hacked, or it could be like TikTok where it completely shuts down. And so being able to print out the images, to paste them on a notebook, and also to be able to go back to the notebook. I think it was last year I printed out a couple photos, but it wasn't as organized. Like I hadn't put as much intention and thought to the things that I wanted. I did do a little journaling prompt actually, where I asked myself questions and filled it out. So I thought to myself, okay, how do I want my health and wellness to look? How do I want my business and my professional life to look? How do I want my relationship with Garrett to look? Or the relationship to my family or my friends? How do I want my legacy to look? Like what do I want to leave, you know, when I'm 99 years old? And I wrote it out, and that helped me. Then I forgot to mention, I did that before I looked on Pinterest for the photos. And then after I had asked myself the questions on what I wanted my life to look like, and then I saved the photos, and then I downloaded the photos, then I printed the photos, and then I journaled a little bit more for the photos that I printed and pasted into the journal. And I will say, it was such a creative process. It was so fun to have the pages in my hand, to feel it, to read it, to tell myself a story of what I wanted, what I craved. Overall, it was the best feeling. And I'm so, again, like, I'm so hopeful for the next year, for the next 5 years. Like, there are so many intentions that I have, so many things that I want to do. And I think writing it out in this way was really just clear for me on a path. And once I had what I wanted, the next thing that I did is I went to my alarms, and I set, like, walking is always such a big intention for me. I want to move my body more. I want to go for walks outside. I want to do the things that help me get my step count up. And so walking, that's one of my goals, right? One of my intentions. So I went to my alarms, and I set a daily alarm for when I need to go outside and go for my walk in the morning, or in the afternoon after work, or whenever you want to, like, do your own walking, whatever it is. Or maybe you're wanting to write a book, like, to stop and think, okay, I'm gonna put in my calendar once a week on Friday night, instead of going out, I'm gonna sit at home, I'm gonna write my book. Like, having those intentions and setting the alarm. And setting the alarm, to me, I can put a block in my calendar, you know, like, this is my morning routine, this is my evening routine, this is that, this is whatever. But I think that the alarms are a really great way to also, like, snap you into action, in comparison to, like, yes, your calendar invite might pop up, but it's not a literal alarm telling you, okay, we're moving to the next thing, we need to be doing this thing. And so that's one of my, you know, helpful, handy little tricks that I'm trying this year, of just trying to get myself in line with the intentions that I put out for myself, for my goals, for my dream board. And the calendar blocks are important, the alarms are important, sticky notes are important, but also having the physical book to pick up and be able to think, okay, like, I'm opening this up, I'm gonna see, I'm gonna read it every night, or, you know, every morning. I'm going to just have a real clear intention of holding this dream. It's physical in my hand. Because sometimes when we have the dream, we have the want in that moment, but it's not physical. And so if it's not physical, it's kind of fleeting. You have to remind yourself of it. You have to come back to it. And that is, I mean, it's human nature to forget, or to allow life to kind of come over and plow through all the things, all the intentions that you set forth to do, and to be able to put it on paper. That's why a dream board works so well, because if you have a dream board and it's up and you're looking at every single day, then it kind of clicks in your mind, okay, what do I need to be doing today to achieve the things on my dream board? What do I need to be doing today to look at this journal and think, okay, how do I achieve this? Or I want to feel this thing, so what do I need to do it? And I might still do a dream board. I just thought the journal in the past has been so nice to just be able to, like, write out my thoughts. I feel like sometimes the dream board is just a pretty photo. It's just like a Pinterest board, right? Like, there's no depth to a photo in comparison to a journal, to physical word that I'm writing out. I'm like, this is what I want, this is how I want to change, this is what's going to make me better. And then tying it into your daily routine. A synopsis, everything of, like, the 2025 year. I know so many people love a word of the year. I have settled on 3 words of the year. And you might think, okay, 3, that's a little much, but let me tell you, these are broad terms they're broad. I will say that. I almost choked a little bit. These are broad terms, but the buckets that they have and like all of my goals, all of the intentions that I have are going to be able to like fit very seamlessly into these buckets. So the first word is simplify. I knew at the end of 2024, I was going to need to simplify. I was going to need to kind of weed out some of the energy drains that I had in my life. And I feel like energy drains or energy saps or things that just take your attention and you don't really have any real want to continue to do them, but you might feel obligation from someone else. You might feel the pressure to continue with it because you don't want to have someone think a certain way about you. It reminds me of the book Dream Big by Backkk. Backkk, he has an intention to quit something every Thursday, I believe, or it's every day or every Thursday. I can't remember, to be honest. I just know that Backkk tries to quit something every day or once a week, because when he quits something, when he says no to something, he's able to say yes to something else. And so for him, he is taking away the distraction. And when you take away the distraction, you can focus on what matters most. And so for me, I was asking myself, what can I simplify? Do I need to simplify my routine? Yes, always yes. Do I really need all of these bottles of skincare? And simplifying, like I have simplify my routine, simplify my house, simplify my schedule, right? All three of those things. My intentions, because if I simplify my routine, say, you know, when I get up, I am going to brush my teeth, wash my face, and then I go get some coffee. I let my skincare settle in, or I take a shower and then do skincare, whatever it is, right? Like you want to have it simple so that you can do it every day. If you have these big expectations, as everyone does during the new year, then you can get off course, you can get off track. So for me, it's like simplifying the routine so that we can do it every single day and it doesn't overwhelm us. Simplifying my house, like moving clutter from one thing to another is so frustrating, so annoying. I know for myself, like I want to make things very simple. I don't want to have decision fatigue. And so if I go to the kitchen and there's a bunch of mugs at the top of my little lazy Susan, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what mug am I going to use today? Like I know which mugs are my favorite and which mugs I hardly ever use. Can I donate some of those mugs that I never use and simplify my routine? Because I'm just pulling the mug that's off on the wheel, the one that's in front of me, right? Like simplifying the household to simplify my routine in order to move to the next thing. Also, just I think it's good to have cleanse every once in a while to clear out the old and bring in the new. So it's simplifying. The next thing I'm simplifying is my calendar, taking things off that, you know, cause a disruption in my schedule and don't really bring that much back to me. Like I just want to maximize my overall utility of my unit of time. I don't want to be stuck where I'm saying yes to things where it doesn't fulfill me or it takes away from my goals and takes away from my vision, takes away from my dreams. So simplifying my schedule, finding ways that I can say no so I can say yes to other things, say yes to other projects that make me feel good, that make me feel empowered and motivated, right? Because I feel like when it's when it's too much, when you're looking at your calendar and you're like, where's the space where I get to think? Where's the space where I have a break? Where can I just like do nothing? Or if I have a free weekend or I have a free date, like, and something comes up, then I can say yes to it. I hate looking at my calendar and it's like booked. This day's busy, you don't have a free weekend, you can't do this. Like I've noticed that in 2024, I was saying yes to a lot of things. I was filling up every single date. And I truly realized that I needed to take a step back. I needed to reevaluate what was most important to me. So simplify is one of my biggest words. That is, all three I think are equally as important, but simplify is one of my words of the year. The next word of my year is execute. Once I get everything simplified, when I have my core pillars of what I want to do and how I'm feeling and what I really want to chase after, no more excuses. When you think about all the previous years and your goals and what you wanted, you might look back and you think, oh my gosh, I told myself I was gonna work out every single day and I didn't work out every single day, right? Like, that's a lack of confidence in yourself, but it also, nothing changes if nothing changes. You're gonna be in the same place you are right now if you don't take yourself seriously, if you don't just execute on the things that you want. And there's a couple things that I have not been achieving, that I have been telling myself, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and then I don't do it. And I'm like, why the heck am I not doing this? Like, this is a goal, this is an intention. And I realized it's because I was saying yes to other things. I was giving up my own autonomy of my time, and I was saying yes to other people. And in return, I had to find that time somewhere. I had to be cut from something, and that was executing on what needed to be done. And I'm just not willing to do that anymore. I'm not willing to give up my own dreams, my own aspirations, for something that isn't even fulfilling. So execute. I have my goals, I have my vision, I know the things that I want to do, and I'm gonna go after them. I'm not gonna let other things hold me back. I'm not gonna let my own personal excuses, I'm not going to let myself agree to other things that aren't imperative to what I want to do. And it's not to say that everything that I've done in the past is a waste. It's just to know that where I'm going, and in order to make the impact I want to make, I have to make a sacrifice. I have to say no to the things that are complicating my schedule. So simplify and execute. Those are they go hand in hand. And then my last intention for 2025, my last word of the year is kindness. I feel like sometimes empathy is not utilized as much as I would like it to be. And I say that in a way, like, I know that I am a caring person. I love people, but sometimes I for myself, like, I've been put in stressful or hard situations, and I've had to figure it out. And so sometimes I expect everyone to, like, just do it like I do it. Like, why it's hard for me. I know it's hard for you, but I don't like excuses in that way. And I'm trying to have more empathy of just, like, people are coming from a different place, and to practice kindness, because you truly don't know anybody else's life or what they have been struggling through, or what they've been doing, or like the other stressors that they might have that is preventing them from doing this. And truly, like, kindness is just, it's important. And I saw a quote, and it was like, in a world where everyone is just so focused on being precise, right? Like, I am very goal oriented. I have so much to do, but taking an extra moment to just, like, be kind to the next person, of, you know, asking them how their day is. And if it's not good, like, they say, you know what, I'm having a really bad day, to sit there and talk to them about their day, instead of just being like, oh, you know, we're gliding over this, or glad whatever, you know. I want to put more emphasis on kindness. I think there's not a lack of kindness, honestly, but I just think when you could always use more kindness, right? Like, you can be more kind, you can be more empathetic. And so that's one of my goals as well, because I can be kind of strict and very structured, and to get out of that structure is sometimes hard for me. And so I don't like understand, like, come on, let's get a move on. But I just practicing kindness. In the quote, I cannot, it literally, it's on my vision board. It's on my vision board. And it's, shoot, this is why I need to print it out and put it on my wall, because it's in my journal vision board, my little journal book. But basically it's like being kind is, it boils down to being kind is important. Like when everybody else is not going to be kind, like it's you, this is going to bug me. Let me grab my phone. It seriously was bugging me. It says anyone who takes the time to be kind is beautiful, and not in the way of like materialism of like, oh, you need to be beautiful. No, like anyone who takes the time to be kind, like that part right there, anyone who takes the time to be kind. I just kind of sat in that and thought to myself, like, sometimes I'm so busy, there's so much that I need to be doing or wanting to work on, and just to sit and be like, okay, I took the time to be kind to someone. You never know how that kindness will have a ripple effect or what it will do. So yeah, I want to take the time to be kind. I'm always polite. I'm never rude, but like taking the extra step, like taking the extra measure to be kind to someone, a stranger, a friend, a loved one, all of the things. So those are my intentions. Those are my goals for 2025. I really am so excited for 2025. However, you might have noticed that I skipped 2 weeks. I did not upload for the first 2 weeks of January, and I had every intention to. I was really excited. Lily and I were going to record a joint episode in Hawaii. We had it all planned out, and we got hit with some horrible news. All of my life, I've been so lucky to have 2 really great dads. When my mom married my stepdad Dave in 2003. I was at 23. In 2003, my mom and dad got married. But before that, like, Dave had always been in my life. He was in the community, and my dad passed away the first couple days in January. So the past 2 weeks have been extremely hard. This was very unexpected, very sudden, and so me and my siblings and my mom have been trying to navigate this. And honestly, it's been the worst time. I tried to record an episode several times, honestly. Just like trying to sit down and record it. If you've ever lost a parent, like, you know how difficult and hard it is. But as I was like looking through past like TikToks and things, like seeing my dad and see videos of like being at home and like my mom and dad are in the living room, or like there was like this Christmas video where Garrett made a coffee table for them, and so it was like Merry Christmas, and it's just like very sweet, intimate moments that I didn't want to be lost. So again, like my January did not start out how I thought it was going to start out, right? Like the dynamic has shifted just so completely. And I just couldn't bring myself to record and post for the last 2 weeks. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. And my family could appreciate all the prayers right now. But yeah, I still am so excited for this year, even if it is going to be without my dad. So I knew that I couldn't stay away for long, but I didn't want to stop the entire time, because those episodes I was trying to record were heinous. They were heinous. And even now, like, I'm not gonna be able to stop crying. Like, I'm gonna need to go hop in the shower and cry some more. But yeah, so thank you. I'm so sorry I skipped the last 2 weeks. I just had to. But yeah, thank you for watching this week's podcast episode. Sorry I cried on you at the end. I promise I won't cry next week. But yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a supporter of the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I really, really appreciate it. Because to me, like, sitting down and being able to chat with you is, it's like a little bit of a therapy session. So, but that doesn't replace real therapy. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about a thing. But thank you for watching or listening wherever you are. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.